den veröffentlichen möchtest, du sicher
I don't speak Deutsch. No frequency Deutsch.
Yes.
We just got...
Not for the internet.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. Oh, sorry. Okay. We're just...
Because you become a problem with us.
Oh, we don't want problems.
Kind of surreal walking around the Bilderberg Hotel. Not any security here yet. But look at this place. So we are inside the hotel here, currently at Bilderberg. The reason why I'm whispering right now is, I think, for obvious reasons. We are on the balcony here, where all the Bilderberg members are going to be staying in these rooms.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with Luke Rudowski of We Are Change, and we're currently in Austria to cover the Bilderberg conference. And a lot of people have been wondering how on earth did we get into that hotel when nobody else could. But the story doesn't really start here in Austria. So Luke, why don't you take us back to, give your side of the story on how we were able to breach that security line and enter the hotel.
I think it was a big mistake done by a lot of the security guards and police. We obviously had G7 press credentials that allowed us to be inside the G7. Once we got those press credentials, we were coming here. We had them on because we literally just came from that event that just took place in Garmisch. So on our way up here in security, we were still looking up the laws. We want to play it safe here so we don't just get thrown in jail automatically for doing something illegal that we do not know about. We want to make sure we give the Bilderbergers no excuse to throw us in jail and to persecute us. So, we play it safe when we don't know what we're doing, and we're not going to, kind of cross the line to just, have that shock value, just to be that sensational, just to be like, oh my God, they're arrested. We don't want to do that. We want to get information. We want to investigate. We really want to provide information. There's already enough, sensationalism. So when we came up to the police checkpoint, they saw the G7 press credentials. We told them we were going to the hotel that the Bilderberg group was taking place in. And, they were very aggressive, mean-looking guys. There was about 30 of them. And it was like they were thinking that we were going to jump on them and attack them out of nowhere. And we were like, hey, we're fine. What's the problem here? Here we are. We have nothing to hide. And they're like, and they calmed down. And then they're like, all right, yeah, go up. We went up. Went into the Bilderberg Hotel. We had our press credentials on. We checked in, asked for a room. They gave us a room for $250. And ultimately, they, I think, thought we were the White House press corps because the White House press corps was there covering the G7. There was a bunch of other people from the White House press corps with the same press badges as we had on. So they probably thought, oh, maybe these guys are working with the White House press corps. Maybe they just want to extend their stay because it's a really beautiful hotel, really beautiful place here in Austria that we're at. And they extended our stay. They, first they said $250. Then they came back later when they found out all three of us were staying and kind of raked up the price to $700, which was a shock as well. Luckily, we had Jeff Berwick of the Dollar Vigilante, who was able to help us out because there's no way, shape, or form on our budgets we would be able to afford any of this. But luckily, with people like Jeff behind us, he booked the room and helped us out a lot, and we were able to be in there.
And just to bring people up to speed, for the G7 summit, there was a press gallery separate for that. But here at the Interlaken Hotel, there was a separate press gallery, as Luke said, for the White House. And that's where they were. They were flying those journalists in by helicopter into Garmisch, back and forth, back and forth. Now, these journalists are the top echelon of the mainstream media, and we actually got an opportunity to join them in the smoking room of the Interlaken Bilderberg Hotel and had some interesting discussions with some of the mainstream guys there. Tell the audience a little bit about some of the interactions that you had with some of these mainstream bigwigs.
I mean, it pretty much is just vindicated every thought I had about the mainstream media. And it brings me to the greater conclusion, while being at the G7 and also talking to the White House press correspondent, that there's two major factors here that we're dealing with when it comes to the suppression of reporting on the Bilderberg Group. One is obvious censorship, since a lot of the board members, a lot of the people who own the media companies do attend this meeting, and obviously they don't tell their producers to actually report on this. So that's a clear censorship. And the other form of it is that here, journalists have to actually do work. They have to investigate. They have to be on the ground. They have to make the phone calls. They have to risk getting arrested. They have to risk all this kind of persecution that's happening here with the press, with journalists being followed home, with journalists being interrogated, intimidated here. They have to face all that. And it also takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of work that these people either are too lazy to do or too incompetent to do, and rather just have something given to them, a press release that they could just recopy and put out as news, which they did at the G7 exactly. Talking to these individuals, they pretty much just clear out said, you guys are doing a way better job than we are. I'm just here because I have a wife, I have kids, I need the paycheck. I do what I'm told, and I wish you guys are real journalists. You're doing it because you want information out there. We're doing it for the money. And again, these conversations were off record, so we're not going to mention names here. We respect that. We have journalistic integrity not to violate those people's private, personal lives, even though they said things to us. So we don't want to jeopardize anyone's safety in that way, shape, or form. But it was just incredible. It was late at night. Everyone was drinking. Everyone was just speaking honestly, and they just vindicated everything I ever thought, and brought me a bigger clarity and a bigger understanding. So it was just profound to have that kind of open dialogue and discussion between these two opposing sides as we were sitting apart from each other. You have the corporate White House press corps of the U.S. mainstream media. And then you have me, Dan, and Jeb sitting aside, just to be like, "Hey, did you know this?" And they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't know anything. I didn't even know there was the Bilderberg. What did you call it? What?" It was a great discussion. It was a great dialogue.
And I honestly think that we managed to get through to these guys. We explained to them who Bilderberg is after they admitted they'd never even heard of it while being in the very same hotel. And I think we did get through to them. They promised they would check it out. I believed them when they said that. They said they would check out our work. So moving forward, after that, the very next day, we were the only 3 people in the hotel at that point, and we noticed something was a little bit eerily quiet. It was like the calm before the storm. We noticed there was nothing going on around the hotel. So tell folks a little bit about what we did when we decided to kind of explore around the hotel a little bit when it was just the 3 of us with maybe some sketchy security guards.
Well, we just noticed online and talking to people that a lot of people who did try to make it in there, a lot of other journalists, were getting harassed, intimidated, and just really treated badly by the police forces when they try to enter here. They were banned from the area as soon as they did. And we're sitting there looking around, and we were like, there's only 3 people in this hotel room, and it's me, Dan, and Jeff. And there's only security guards and staff members walking around nervously, miserably, stressed out, not making eye contact, not being social in any way, shape, or form. And then we figured out, holy crap, we're the only ones in here. They made a big mistake. So it was kind of surreal. It was like, holy cow. Like, okay, what can we do without jeopardizing our safety, without breaking any rules or laws and regulations? What can we do to get as much information as we can? So that's why we decided, just sitting in our rooms won't do anything. We decided to walk around and try to talk to some of the staff members. We walked around and tried to see what we can. And then the first stop we saw was, the conference room, the actual place where all the Bilderbergers go and sit down, where they have the Bilderberg meeting. Everything was set up in there. Everything was ready to go. And I don't know if there's any other journalist who was ever inside the Bilderberg group actual meeting place.
During
lockdown, as everything was already set up. But it was just, we were walking, and then, I looked right, the door was open. And it's this, kind of huge kind of place, plush white sheets and blue sheets everywhere, this stage. There's no podium on the stage, just a huge television. Chairs and desks were set up in like this mini C section, and they were kind of expanding out like a kind of a college university. Every table had microphones on them. It was just like, whoa. And as soon as we did that, we only got a glimpse of it. As I was grabbing my camera to try to film it, a security guard ran up behind us, freaking out. I think it was the police too. And they were like, hey, oh my God, no, you gotta go. You can't be here. We're like, what's going on? We're just looking for our friends here. Our friends were here yesterday. And they just took us out, and we went on a nature hike, and we were stopped by police. Everything was fine by police when we showed them the room keys. And then the head of the police came over, and interrogated us about everything, took our passports, and ultimately that kind of concluded to them watching my YouTube videos. And it was really weird during the questioning. It's like they knew everything about us. You at that point have not given them their passport, but they knew that you were Canadian. And I was like, wait, how do you know he's Canadian? So it was, and they were, when they were interrogating us, they were asking us like trick questions about us that were not true to see if we would correct them. They were, looking at my body language to see if I was nervous. So these are obviously, kind of higher echelon guys that were kind of playing good cop, bad cop, interrogating us. Falsifying questions, making eye contact, looking at my hand gestures. These people are trained specifically to, not only read body language, but to sense nervousness. They didn't in me, and they, weren't that, they were literally like, wait, maybe they should stay. But obviously when they were watching I heard my voice when I was in the lobby waiting for them. I walked up to them, and then they ran away, and I see them like, oh no, and they're watching my Bilderberg 2000, last year's coverage of Bilderberg, and they're freaking out. And then they said I failed the security background check to not be in this area, because they at first when they were interrogating us, they're like, yeah, you're fine, you'll stay. But then when they did the background check and they were watching my YouTube videos, they were like, no, you failed the background check. And I'm like, how? I have no criminal record. I was never convicted of any crime. Sure, I was arrested, but I was never convicted of any crime in the world. I have a clean record. I just got a background check and approved to be at the G7. Why can't I be at this meeting? What else is happening here? Why? What? And it obviously points to the fact that the Bilderberg Group is more important than the G7 in this kind of superficial aspect that we're talking about.
So at that point, that's when they decided to just come on up to the room where we went back to our room, and they decided to come up and knock on the door and say, I'm sorry, gentlemen, but you can't stay here no longer. You're going to have to leave. It's our mistake. Charges are, everything is free. Don't worry about it. They'll take what you want. Everything you paid for last night is on us.
The room's covered.
The room is covered. The food is covered as long as you leave now. And then the security even told us, you know what? Hey, guys, here's a little tip. Why don't you clean out the mini fridge since it's on them? And so we did just that. We decided to clean out the mini fridge and packed up, and we're basically
So yeah, the Bilderberg Group paid for our meals, drinks, and gave us a free room.
And a very, very nice, free, lush room where we got to stay in. So that was quite a treat indeed. So bottom line, I mean, we got in, we managed to capture the footage that no one else could, and now Bilderberg hasn't even begun. So anyways, I just wanted to bring that story to you and let you know a little bit of behind the scenes of how we're able to do some of these things. And any final thoughts, Luke, on what you can foresee coming in the next few days? I mean, things have been crazy out here in Austria. The police are apparently coming to journalists' hotel rooms or question them, apparently. Any final thoughts on what you expect over the next few days?
It's always very unpredictable. Every Bilderberg is different. I'm hearing from my friends in the Monday demonstrations from Germany that there could be as much as 3,000 people here. We thought there was going to be no one here, but reporters, that could change at any moment, at any time. People have to understand the seriousness that we're going through here. This is the Bilderberg Group. This is the top echelons of the corporate, private, and public world meeting together in secret, colluding together with their own quotes, with their own statements. They admit that they are calling the shots. These people do not want any kind of attention, do not want any kind of accountability, any kind of transparency. That's why they're doing this on the top of a hill. That's why they're doing this with public money for security, spending millions of euros here of public money on something that is undemocratic, unfree, in total secrecy and total tyranny. Because obviously if they were doing something good, they would want to promote it. They would be using it as a way to build up their kind of brand, their kind of prestige. Obviously we hear nothing from here, so we could only expect the worst. Let's not speculate. Let's do some real investigating. Let's try to get on the inside. Let's find out what's going on. Let's do it correctly. Let's do it intelligently, to make sure we get as much information as we can and not just try to cause trouble. My last statement that I want to make is, this is a very serious organization. They arrested me and Dan last year. They tried to set us up with drugs. Many other journalists, including myself, have gotten death threats. My girlfriend has gotten death threats after Bilderberg, which correlates with other journalists who also cover Bilderberg and try to expose them. Like, they try to set me up with child pornography, literally try to hack my computer, send child pornography, sent me emails saying, stop my work right now, quit, or you will spend the rest of your life as a pedophile in jail. These people are criminals. They play dirty, and this is a very serious game. And if you people are watching, we're giving you insight here that no one else can. We're doing this for free. We have no sponsors other than you. If you enjoy what you are seeing, if this is helpful and informational, support people like Dan. Vote with your clicks, and everything is dependent on you. Not only your viewership, but also your support. So considering supporting real independent media with Press for Truth, We Are Change, and the Dollar Vigilante here in Bilderberg, Austria.
Absolutely. As Luke said, we are the guys putting ourselves on the line here, and we're doing it out of our own pocket. So if you do like the work we're doing, if you do want to contribute and see guys like myself, Luke, and Jeff continue to do these things, check the link in the description to where you can donate to We Are Change or Press for Truth. Once again, thanks so much, Luke.
No problem. Thank you.